Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and welcome back to another preview and prediction video. Today, I'll be doing the SEC. If you have not seen my preview and prediction videos yet, I'm doing them a little bit differently this year. I'm going to do it conference-wide. I'm going to go through each team's roster and depth charts, say a few things about them, and I'm going to use playoff predictors to predict how each team is going to do this year. So, let's jump right into it. First off, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama last year went 9-3, 5-3 in the conference under head coaches Kalen DeBoer in his first season. Coming into this season, he brought in his former offense coordinator at Washington, Ryan Grubb, and he brought in a couple of transfers and like Isaiah Horton and Cam Dewberry that were good pieces to add for this offense. They lost a couple of guys like Jalen Milroe, Justice Haynes, and other guys as well on the offensive side, but they have some good guys to replace them like Ty Simpson, Jam Miller, Richard Young, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and some veteran guys on the offensive side like Parker Brailsford and Caden Proctor. So Alabama offensively, very veteran, very talented. So I'm not really worried about. I don't have many questions about Alabama. Defensively, same thing. They bring back a lot of talent on this side of the ball. Guys like Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard, Sabian Brown, LT Overton, Tim Keenan. A lot of these guys, future Sunday players. So, Alabama, very good player in the college football space. Going to the next team, we got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, Arkansas, if they don't have a good season, this very well could be Sam Pittman's last year. They went 6-6 last year with a bowl win over Texas Tech, but ever since 2021, it has not gone well for the Razorbacks. They returned quarterback Taylor Green as well as offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino. They returned Braylon Russell, as well as AJ Green, who came back from Oklahoma State after transferring there from Arkansas. Mike Washington comes in from New Mexico State. They also brought in some wide receivers, including Omega Blake from Charlotte, Ismail Sisay from Stanford, Raylan Sharp from Fresno State, and on the offensive line, Corey Robinson from Georgia Tech, and Caden Kittler from Central Florida, as well as Shaq McRoy from Oregon, and a tight end by the name of Rohan Jones from Montana State. So if Bobby Petrino can get this offense rolling like he did last year at some points and improve on it, they could be a threat for teams on their schedule. Defensively, they bring back a lot of guys like Xavier Sorey and people like that, as well as some transfers in the secondary. So we'll see how Arkansas is able to play this season. Next up, we have the Auburn Tigers, another team to where their coach, if they don't have a good season, could be out. Hugh Freeze, ever since he got to Auburn, he's not had a winning season. So they're trying to fix that this year. You bring back a guy like Cam Coleman who can help with that. You bring in Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. You bring in Jackson Arnold, who Jackson Arnold had some turnover issues of his own, and Auburn had turnover issues of their own. So let's hope with that connection they can rectify both if they want to be successful. You bring back Demarion Alston and Jeremiah Cobb after losing Charleston Hunter to the draft. Offensive line, you bring in some tackle help. So all in all, you're looking to hopefully improve the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, you still have a lot of good pieces on this side. You have guys like Keldrick Falk, Kieran Crawford, Robert Woodyard. A lot of these guys played very good snaps last year, so let's hope that your defense with DJ Durkin can continue to have success. After the Auburn Tigers, we look at the Florida Gators. Now, Florida, they started the season not well under Billy Napier. Honestly, middle of the season, it was looking like Billy Napier was going to get fired and gone, but they rallied the troops and beat LSU and Ole Miss in back-to-back weeks. So You're hopefully, for Florida, looking at a good sophomore season for DJ Lagway, Jaden Baugh, and a redshirt sophomore season for Trey Wilson, as well as a guy like Michael Studebaker or Studevert from UCLA, who was a great addition. You also have Aiden Mizell, who had some good snaps last year, freshman Dallas Wilson, and Hayden Hansen as well on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line, you have a lot of returning like Austin Barber, Jake Slaughter, Aaron George, and stuff like that. Defensively, you bring in guys like Caleb Banks, Tyree Sapp, Jamari Lyons, George Grooms, Miles Graham. You have a lot of these guys that have been in the program for 2 to 3 years that have really grown and know how Billy Napier likes his defenses and everything like that. So that's a plus for Florida. So Florida could be a really good player this year. Next up, after Florida, you have the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia coming off a good season, but a disappointment in the eyes of a lot of people. Carson Beck's gone, but you still have Gunnar Stockton, who started the last game of the season and finished the last game of the regular season against Texas. You bring back Nate Frazier, who had a good freshman season. You bring in Josh McCray from Illinois. And receiver is the position that improved the most. You bring in Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas. Colby Young's back. Dylan Bell's back for his senior year. London Humphrey's back. Scobie White. You have a lot of guys that are going to be in the rotation for Georgia. Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky are here as well. The offensive line, you lost a lot of starters on that offensive line, but you have a lot of guys that have been in the program a while. Monroe Freeling, Micah Morris, Drew Bobo, and Ernest Green all being that. Now on the defensive side as well, you brought in Elo Medozi from Army. He's a good guy. He's a good pickup. You have guys like Gabe Harris, Jordan Hall, Christian Miller, Raylan Wilson, C.J. Allen. A lot of these guys played very good snaps last year for Georgia. Zion Branch, Zachariah's brothers in here, and Jaron Maddox. So a lot of talent on this roster, and it's just one of those years to where Georgia's breaking out a lot of guys that you don't really know their names yet. So we'll see how it goes for Georgia. Next up, we have Kentucky. Kentucky, I don't think it's going to be that good of a year for Kentucky. I think this could be a year that Mark Stoops is out the door. You bring a guy like Zach Calzada, who played 1 year at Texas A&M before going to a lower classification school. Dante Dowdle coming in from Nebraska to running back position. You have Kendrick Law from Alabama. J.J. Hester coming in from Oklahoma. You have a lot of transferees on the offensive line to help. At the defensive side, defensively, they've been pretty good under Stoops, but we'll see if their additions can help. Next up, we have LSU, who brought back a ton of production from last year. Garrett Nussmeier being one of those. Garrett Nussmeier, very good. He just needs to grow as he has been. Caden Durham, true freshman last year, did very well. You bring in Barry Brown from Kentucky and Nick Anderson from Oklahoma. Aaron Anderson comes back. Chris Hilton's back. Tight end's a position that you're going to have to replace Mason Taylor, who's a really good tight end for you, but hopefully you're able to with Tredice Green and Bayer Sharp, who comes in from Oklahoma. Offensive line, you're bringing back some starters on that offensive line. You're also losing some starters as well, so if you can backfill that, that would be very, very beneficial for you. You bring in on defense Jack Pyram from Florida, Patrick Payton from Florida State, and some DB help as well. You bring back Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins, and in the second year of their defensive coordinator who came in from Missouri, hopefully their defense can take leaps and bounds. Next up, after LSU, we have the Ole Miss Rebels, who lost a ton off of last year's 9-3 team. They lost Jackson Dart, who you're replacing with Austin Simmons, who looked good at times when he was in. You bring back Logan Diggs, and you bring in Damian Taylor from Troy. At wide receiver, Deshaun Stribling from Oklahoma State comes in, as well as Harrison Wallace from Penn State, as well as Caden Lee coming back. You bring in some help at guard on the offensive line to help fill some positions. Daquan Wright comes back at tight end, as well as Luke Hawes from Arkansas. So that's a big help for you. On the defensive side, you're filling in a bunch of positions. You bring in Princewell Amoyumelan from Nebraska, as well as Deshaun Womack from LSU to help fill some of those positions that are left by all those defensive players leaving. One that stayed was the Taron Perkins, who was a really good player for you last year. You brought in DB help like Sage Ryan, Ricky Fletcher from South Alabama, Wyatt Williams coming in from ULM, and Jalen Braxton coming in from Arkansas, as well as Kapena Gushikin coming in from Washington State. So, also Antonio Kite from Alabama. So, Ole Miss, we'll see how well they backfilled from losing all that production from last year. Now, Mississippi State, they had a really bad year last year, but they brought in some really good players on the defensive line to help in their run defense, like Jamil Burrows from Miami, Red Hibbler from NC State, I believe is his name, and Will Whitson from Coastal Carolina. They had a very bad run defense last year. They brought in Jalen Smith as well from Tennessee, inside linebacker, and Tony Mitchell from East Mississippi Community College to help. On the offensive side, they bring back Blake Shapen and they bring in Luke Krumanoke to have a little quarterback battle. They bring back Davon Booth, as well as bringing in Fluff Bothwell from South Alabama. Wide receiver, they bring back Jordan Mosley, as well as bringing in Anthony Evans from Georgia and Brennan Thompson from Oklahoma. On the offensive line, they bring back some guys and bring in guys like Colby Keenum from Kentucky and Blake Steen from Virginia. So as long as they can improve, Jeff Lebby's is going to make some improvements, hopefully. Then you go to Missouri, who lost a good bit, including Luther Burden and Brady Cook, but you backfill with a guy like Bo Pribula from Penn State and a guy like Ahmad Hardy at running back from ULM. So Missouri's going to be an interesting case on offense because it felt like guys like Luther Burden and Brady Cook helped that team to win a lot of the games you didn't think that they would. They bring in on the wide receiver room Kelvin Coleman from Mississippi State. On the offensive line, Johnny Williams, Dominic Gaidas, and Keegan Trost to help bolster the offensive line. On the defensive side, you bring back some players on that defense, but you also bring in guys like Damon Wilson, who will help, and Josiah Trotter coming in from West Virginia to help that linebacking core, and a guy like Jalen Catalon as well to help that secondary. So Missouri, another question mark is how are they going to do on offense? So now going to Oklahoma, who I believe had one of the best off seasons out of anyone. They bring in a guy like John Mateer from Washington State, as well as their offensive coordinator. They bring in Jaden Ott from Cal, one of the best running backs in the country. Bring in Giovanni Gibson from Arkansas Pine Bluff. They bring in Jermichael Carter from McNeese State. Isaiah Set, however you say his last name, for Arkansas. He was a good player. But they also bring back Deion Burks, who was supposed to have a good year last year, but got injured and could not play for a lot of the season. Bring back along the offensive line, but bring in a transfer Derek Simmons from Western Carolina to help that offensive line. On the defensive side, they bring in Marvin Jones Jr. from Florida State. Other than that, it's a lot of guys that have been in the program a while. So watch out for Oklahoma. Then after Oklahoma, we have South Carolina. The Gamecocks lost a lot on defense and hope to have a similar season this year, similar success. They still have Lenore Sellers. They bring in Rasul Faison from Utah State. as well as Isaiah Gustav from Colorado. And they bring in a guy like Boaz Stanley from Troy to help on the offensive line, and Jordan Dingle from Kentucky to help at tight end. They bring back a few guys at the wide receiver core, including Nick Harbor, Jared Brown, and Mazio Bennett, who saw a lot of receptions from their positions. On the defensive side, they lost a lot in the secondary, but they also brought back a guy like DQ Smith that can help in that secondary with a lot of these younger guys. You bring in Gabriel Brownlow Dindy coming in from Texas A&M. Then you bring in Sean Murphy coming in from Florida State, as well as Brandon Sissy from NC State. So you're looking at a defense that has Dylan Stewart and hopefully another guy that can, like Brian Thomas, that can help get some pressure on the quarterback so that defense can go to work. Next up, after South Carolina, we go to Tennessee, where you had an interesting offseason to where you lose out of Nico and instead get a guy like Joey Aguilar, who is the App State quarterback from last year, and you're hoping that he can do good enough to get you in the place you were last year. So a lot else on the offense. You bring in 2 transfers at the guards to hopefully help the offensive line. You bring back Chris Brazel, Mike Matthews at receiver, Lance Hurd on the offensive line. You're hoping that Peyton Lewis or Deshaun Bishop can fill the role that your running back last year did. I'm blanking on his name. On the defensive side, it's a lot of guys that have been in the program for a while. So you're hoping your defense from last year, if not just goes down a little bit, is around the same, hopefully. So you're hoping for good things with that. Going down next, we have Texas. Texas is one of the teams that you are potentially looking at a national title this year. Arch Manning, who's been talked about as a really good quarterback for the past 3 seasons, is looked at as the starter for this year. You have Wisner and Baxter in the backfield, Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore at wide receiver, with Emmett Mosley coming in from Stanford to help out in depth. The offensive line, you're replacing some pieces on there, but how Sark has been recruiting should be fine. You bring in another tight end from Cal, injuries. And on the defensive side, you have a lot of guys coming back, but you needed to replace some defensive line, and it looks like you have with Cole Brevard, Travis Shaw, and Murad Watson. So Texas is going to be Texas. Will they be fully back? Who knows? Next up, we got Texas A&M, the Aggies. They went 8-4 last year. Marcel Reed is their quarterback. They bring back Le'Veon Moss and Reuben Owens and Amari Daniels. So you're looking at a running back core that's going to be pretty good. Terry Bussey's coming back. Casey Concepcion from NC State and Mario Craver from Mississippi State come to fill some positions at that wide receiver core that did lose Noah Thomas. Your offensive line is a very veteran bunch, so you're hoping that looks that does well. Amar Nyblack comes in from, I believe, Florida State. He came in from Texas, excuse me. On the defensive line, or on the defensive side, you bring in 3 transfers. TJ Searcy from Florida, Tyler Onyedem from Iowa State, and Jordan Shaw coming in from Washington to hopefully help out the defense with guys like Scooby Williams to hopefully have a big year. You also bring in a guy like Julian Humphreys who can help with depth, if not getting in the rotation. Finally, the final SEC team, we have the Vanderbilt Commodores, who had a very good season last year with Clark Lee and Diego Pavia. They're hoping to replicate that success here. Diego Pavia is back, as well as Eli Stowers and Cedric Alexander. You also have Jeremy Sherrill. You bring in a guy like Trent Hudson from Mississippi State to bolster the wide receiver core, and Trey Richardson from Washburn. You bring in a bunch of offensive line help as well to hopefully get them there. on the defensive side. You bring in a lot of defensive production back, and C.J. Hurd from Florida Atlantic to hopefully help that defense out. With a coach like Mr. Clark Lee, who's a defensive mind, you love to see this. Guys that have been in the program who are here. So let's go ahead and do some predictions. So starting out week 1, what we're going to do is we're going to go. I'm going to not talk as much on the games that I feel like are easy wins or that I've already talked about. So we're going to go through it. So I have going here, a lot of these SEC teams are going to be winning week 1. So that's what I have it as. I'm going to check just in case because I don't want to mislead anybody by doing 2 different types of predictions in a video. So I'm going to make sure I got everybody correct. Okay. I believe I got everything. Let's see. Syracuse and Tennessee. I have Tennessee winning that. Yes. Okay. So week 1 in the books. We're going to week 2. So in this one, Texas wins. Texas A&M. I believe I have Missouri winning this game. Georgia, I have. Okay, hold on. I'm not ready for that one yet. Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina, Auburn, LSU. I believe Arizona State winning that game. I have Oklahoma winning that game. I have Vanderbilt and Alabama. Okay, so Ole Miss at Kentucky. Last year, Kentucky pulled off a stunning win against Ole Miss in, I believe it was at Ole Miss too. So that was a big win for the Kentucky Wildcats. I don't think it's going to happen here. I think Kentucky's in for a rough season this year, so I would not be surprised if this is a big win for Ole Miss. Would not be surprised to see Austin Simmons playing a very good game. So let's go to the next week. So let's see here. We got Vanderbilt at South Carolina, Arkansas at Ole Miss, Oklahoma at Temple, Alabama, Auburn. All right. Gonna get these out of the way. Okay, so Vanderbilt at South Carolina. You have 2 teams that South Carolina placing good on defense. Vanderbilt getting back their quarterback and running back. I think I'm going to give it to South Carolina. I think Carolina gets a big win here against Vandy, and Vandy has a little bit. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to give it to Carolina. Arkansas at Ole Miss. This is always a pretty good game, usually, not saying last year was. I'm going to give it to Ole Miss. I think it could be a close game, could be an upset alert for Ole Miss, but give me the Rebels. Georgia at Tennessee, give me Georgia. Joey Aguilar, I don't think he's a proven commodity yet, so give me the Georgia Bulldogs to go into Knoxville and get a win. Florida LSU, give me the Tigers. This is going to be one of the biggest environments that DJ Lagway has been in, and with a LSU team that's brought back a lot. I'm not saying I believe in Brian Kelly, but give me the LSU Tigers. Texas A&M at Notre Dame. This is going to be a revenge game from last year. Give me the Aggies. Going to the next week, we have South Carolina at Missouri. I think give me Carolina over a inexperienced quarterback in Bo Pabula. Auburn at Oklahoma. Give me the Sooners. Tulane Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss. Give me Florida over Miami. Give me Arkansas over Memphis. Tennessee over UAB. Mississippi State over NIU. Now, I know Toledo blew them out last year, but I think there's some improvements. Give me Vanderbilt getting a revenge win over Georgia State. LSU and Texas winning as well. Next, we have Tennessee at Mississippi State. This could be an interesting matchup. Give me Missouri over UMass. Give me South Carolina over Kentucky. Give me Texas A&M over Auburn. Give me Ole Miss getting in a revenge win over LSU. Give me Vanderbilt over Utah State, and then we have 3 games left. So I'll give me. This is a tough matchup here. But I think a big upset here is going to be Arkansas upsetting Notre Dame in Fayetteville for a big win. And as a Georgia fan, I am no longer picking Georgia to beat Alabama, just because every time I have, we've lost. And I don't think I need to elaborate at all. And I'm going to pick an upset here. I think Mississippi State gets a big win at home over Tennessee. So at Mississippi State, Texas A&M, give me the Aggies there. Give me Alabama to get a revenge win over Vanderbilt. Give me Georgia over Kentucky and Oklahoma over Kent State. Now, big game here in the SEC. Texas at Florida. Florida already having a loss in conference. Texas coming off a 4-0 stretch. Give me the Gators. Give me the Gators for a big win at home that they've needed under Billy Napier. Now we have a good week of play. We have Georgia at Auburn, South Carolina at LSU, Florida at Texas A&M, Arkansas at Tennessee, Alabama at Missouri, Washington State at Ole Miss, and Oklahoma, Texas. First off, give me the Sooners to pull off another upset over Texas. Then, give me Ole Miss over Washington State. Give me Alabama over Missouri. And this right here is the tough stretch right here. Give me Georgia over Auburn. I think Auburn's improved, but I think Georgia just right now has a big talent. Well, not talent deficit, but I think they got it. South Carolina at LSU. This is a tough one just because of how the game was last year. Give me LSU in Death Valley. Florida at Texas A&M, Arkansas at Tennessee. I think Tennessee gets the win here against Arkansas, and I think Texas A&M gets the win over Florida. Next week, I think Auburn gets the win over Missouri. I think Oklahoma gets the win over South Carolina. I think Alabama gets the win over Tennessee. A&M over Arkansas. Florida over Mississippi State. Georgia gets a revenge win over Ole Miss. Texas over Kentucky. And LSU over the Commodores. Now, this week, the home team in Texas A&M LSU has won every time since 2018 or 2017. So give me the LSU Tigers. Give me Texas over Mississippi State. Give me, I'm gonna skip that for now. Alabama at South Carolina. Give me the Crimson Tide. Auburn and Arkansas. Give me the Auburn Tigers to get a bounce back win. Tennessee over Kentucky. Now, Missouri Vanderbilt's an interesting one. I think Vandy gets their first conference win here against the Missouri Tigers. Now, Ole Miss at Oklahoma is an interesting one. Oklahoma getting embarrassed at Ole Miss last year. I think Oklahoma gets a big win here against the Ole Miss Rebels. Week 10, I think Auburn gets a win over Kentucky. Now, Mississippi State and Arkansas is an interesting game. I'll skip that for now. South Carolina at Ole Miss, I think Carolina gets the win. Oklahoma at Tennessee, give me Oklahoma. Vanderbilt at Texas, give me Texas. And Georgia, Florida, it's going to be a tough game, but give me the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Mississippi State at Arkansas, I could see a very interesting game here. Give me Mississippi State in a shocker in Fayetteville. Texas A&M at Missouri, give me A&M. LSU, Alabama, give me Alabama. Florida beats Kentucky. Auburn beats Vandy. Georgia beats Mississippi State. And Ole Miss takes care of the Citadel. Now we have the battle for the boot here. Let's check out our rankings right now. Right now in the lead is Oklahoma and Alabama. Georgia and Texas A&M are not too far behind. Mississippi State at Missouri. Give me Missouri for their defense. South Carolina at Texas A&M. Give me Carolina to get a big win on the road in A&M. Oklahoma at Alabama. Give me the Crimson Tide. Texas at Georgia. Georgia's had Texas's number lately. Florida at Ole Miss. That's going to be a tough one. But give me the Gators. Kentucky and Tennessee getting easy wins. And LSU and Arkansas. Give me the Tigers. Next week, you have some cupcake games for some SEC teams. So our real matchups, Tennessee at Florida, give me the Gators. Arkansas at Texas, give me the Longhorns. Kentucky at Vandy, give me the Vanderbilt Commodores. Missouri at Oklahoma, give me the Sooners. And the final week, rivalry week of the regular season, Clemson beats South Carolina, Georgia beats Georgia Tech, Louisville beats Kentucky, Florida beats Florida State. So, Ole Miss at Mississippi State, give me the Bulldogs in an upset. I think Mississippi State is going to be getting progressively better as the year goes along under Jeff Lebby, especially offensively. Texas A&M at Texas, give me the Longhorns. Alabama at Auburn, we'll get to that. LSU at Oklahoma, give me the Sooners. Missouri at Arkansas, Tennessee and Vandy, give me Tennessee here. Give me the Arkansas Razorbacks to get their one and only SEC win here. Alabama Auburn is going to be, it's always a tough one inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium. Give me the Auburn Tigers to get a big win for Coach Hugh Freeze and get to 9-3. So here is our SEC standings. We got Alabama at 11-1, 7-1. Let me go look at Oklahoma because I don't know if I agree with them at 11-1. I definitely have them beating Michigan, Auburn, yep, Texas, yep. I think they slip up on the road at South Carolina. I think other than that, it's because, hear me out, it's a big win against Texas. You go on the road the next week to South Carolina, I don't think you're winning that game. So your two losses are to South Carolina and Alabama. I'll take that. So, here is the SEC standings. After that, we have Alabama at 11-1, 7-1 conference. Georgia at 11-1, 7-1. Rematch the regular season right there. We have 9-3, 6-2. South Carolina 10-2, 6-2. Oklahoma 9-3, 5-3. Texas A&M 9-3, 5-3. Florida 9-3, 5-3. Auburn 9-3, 5-3. Texas 8-4, 5-3 LSU, 6-6, 3-5 Mississippi State, 7-5, 3-5 Ole Miss, 7-5, 3-5 Tennessee, 6-6, 2-6 Vanderbilt, 5-7, 1-7 Arkansas, 5-7, 1-7 Missouri, and 3-9, 0-8 Kentucky. So there you have it. There's the SEC predicted for the 2025 season. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and go Dogs.